What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another video, and in this video, we're going to be going over the recent Pokémon Wind and Waves announcement, going over things in the trailer, and long story short, I'm very excited. This looks like the best Pokémon game we've ever had, and let's dive into it. Okay, I cannot explain to you enough how freaking excited I am. Like, I am just mind blown. This game looks so good. And if you're saying, it just looks a little off, like a little too pixelated, remember, YouTube videos will sometimes make it look worse, especially the footage you're seeing now, because it's my video, looks a little bad. But trust me, this game looks amazing. If you think of this on the hardware, it looks incredible, and it's wonderful, and it's weirdly expected, because for a lot of franchises, but for Pokemon, here's what's happening. You have like so many kind of flop games, like the Switch era of Pokemon was not received well, and now like you expect the next one to be better. You expect that everybody is complaining enough that they need to make their games good, and I think they especially had pushed to just make this game look amazing because it's the 10th generation. Like 10 generations now, you think they should get it down, and it looks like they finally did. The power of the trailer, you can see it. You can see the game looking amazing. I mean, even with Scarlet and Violet's first trailers, it looked bad. So clearly the first trailers are, you know, legit and good examples. Because of that, you can tell it's amazing. And it's like, it's finally the step that we've wanted forever. It's finally the Pokemon game that we have dreamed of in quality. Okay, it's finally that. It's finally what we've imagined from whatever was the first game we all played. Some of this, that's, you know, Ruby and Sapphire. For me, it's X and Y. So finally, we're at the point to where the power is amazing, and my excitement is through the roof. This is more about the trailer than the game, but the art they showed at the beginning that you're looking at right now, that art was so sentimental. Like, I know some people might see me being young and think he hasn't played the older games, you know, he's not some, like, veteran Pokemon fan, but I've been playing since X and Y. That's several generations of my life. So, see stuff like this, it really is sentimental for me and for so many different people. Like, the art really hit differently, seeing all the generations in such a nice style, and you get so many memories looking at this art. And again, this isn't really about the game, this is just the trailer, how they began it with this art to celebrate 10 generations of Pokemon, a wonderful franchise that has brought so many people together. The art at the beginning in that book was just amazing. And I also want to mention the story, and obviously we basically know nothing about it, but I kind of have a guess, and it's a rough guess. It's not even a full-on guess, but I kind of want to walk you through it. My idea of what I think the story might be is you work for this company as like an intern or something, and it's like an adventuring company that goes on out and explores the waters or the sky, and depending on which version you have, depends on which the company specializes in. And I don't actually know if that part will be true or not. Like, I actually can't really decide, because in the game, if you only had like one version of the game, like, did wind and the other did water, that would actually make one version not have near as much content, which wouldn't be that good. So, I don't know how they'll divide it. I mean, it would make sense if they had more water content in the Waves game, and more wind content in the, you know, Wind game, but I don't know how they'll divide it with keeping a good amount of content. Point is, though, depending on which game you pick, depends on the main focus of your research. You either focus the sky or the ocean, and your main base, your headquarters, will be that giant tower that connects both the water and the sky. And I think that sounds like a great idea. Now, I don't really know anything else about the story, like the villain, but that seems like a good idea for me, at least it being like your main HQ is that tower, and you like work for a company to go venture out, and depending on which game it is, depends on if you explore the sky or the water. And you're probably wondering my opinion on the starters. The starters are the big deal, you know, we don't know any characters, we don't know anything about the story, and these are actually the only new Pokemon we know about. So you're probably ready to finally hear my opinion on the starters. And honestly, when I first saw them, I was like, these all look terrible. Like, my first reaction was like, ugly, ugly, ugly. But now that I've looked at them for a lot longer, I've kind of changed my mind. So, I still hate the fire dog. To me, that fire dog looks so ugly. It just looks like a ball of fur, and not in the cute way. So, And at first, I thought the gecko's face looked so ugly, but it's worn up on me, so I don't think the gecko looks terrible. But after some deep thought, I think my favorite is the grass bird. I think it looks adorable. It reminds me of Rowlet and Decidueye like my favorite Pokemon. So I definitely think that the grass bird Rowlet is probably my favorite, but of course, it will completely depend on their final forms. How I'm thinking it will go is like the blue gecko, like if it's amazing, okay, but I honestly don't think there's any world where they convince me to choose the fire dog. The fire dog looks so ugly, but the blue gecko, maybe, and probably the grass bird. But again, it really depends on the final forms. And I want to directly talk about the water in this game. For multiple reasons, but I'm definitely way more interested in the water than the sky in the game. And first off, I gotta mention how beautiful the water looks. Like, it looks amazing, but that's just also in the same category of this game looks like it's going to run amazing. It really uses the Switch 2's hardware. So, I mean, the water just looks amazing, but to have the ability to swim underwater with Pokemon, I mean, I personally am a large water fan. I love the ocean. I love scuba diving. So to like get to swim with my Pokemon is just wonderful for me. Like, that is a dream come true, especially to do it in a mainline Pokemon game. So I am very excited for the whole water aspect in general, and I'm curious how they're going to do it. Will we scuba dive? Will we be in a submarine? Will we have just a propulsion system? I really don't know, but I'm very curious how we do it. And I'm very, very excited to just swim in the water with my Pokemon. The one thing I will say, though, is I'm a little worried it might get kind of stale Pokemon-wise, because while I'm swimming, there's not much Pokemon I can encounter besides water types. So hopefully in the game they add a lot more interesting water types, or especially non-water types that swim in the water, to make exploration in the water tons more interesting, which I'm guessing they will, because that is a very large focus in the game. So I am overjoyed by the fact that I will get to swim in the water. Yeah, I'm excited for that part. And like I said, I'm a lot more interested in the water in the game than the winds. Okay, so I would like to talk about the version exclusives. And I'm kind of curious, what will be the differences in game? There'll probably at least be one thing that's a big deal, like a big difference, like in Scarlet and Violet, how the professors are different. But what will it be in this game? Because obviously the whole premise is water and wind. So maybe, if you choose Pokemon Wind, it's the whole story and everything that I mentioned before. It's all about wind exploration. You get in blimps, zeppelins, you fly around, you get to fly on Pokemon. It's all about the sky. Maybe you go into certain sky areas. But if you choose Waves, the whole story changes to being about water exploration. The one thing I will say about this is, I don't think this is the case, but I don't think it's super unlikely. I could see this being a thing and being a big deal, and honestly, it might just sell more copies, because then people would want to try out both experiences, so I could see them doing it. But the one problem with that is, well, you know, in one game, it wouldn't be a ton of content. It would be too little in one, and I could see that being a problem. So that's why I don't think it's, like, crazy likely, but I do think it's possible. Some things that I'm hoping for in this game are voice acting. I really think this game needs voice acting, and I think there's a decent chance for it. Mainly because this game really seems like a next-gen game. You know, it seems like a game where it's like, finally, we're going out of the test era, or the poor era, or the Switch era of Pokemon, and it really feels like the next step for Pokemon. And if it really is such a next step, then having a new big thing like voice acting finally making its way into Pokemon seems like a great idea. So I don't think this is unlikely to get voice acting. Another wish of mine is having amazing water exploration. Personally, I love swimming, I love scuba diving, I love fish, I love the ocean, I love the beach. All of that, I love it. I know a lot of people do, but especially, it's one of my favorite things. You know, I love the water, and that's why I'm definitely going to choose Waves, or at least most likely. It also depends on the legendaries, but very excited for the water in this game. And I really hope that we get really rich and just great water exploration. Like, I want to go and swim around in the water. I want to find a cave. I really think that this is something likely that we're going to get when the game is literally called Waves. We've seen parts of this game that involve water, so I really hope there's good water exploration in this game. Now, the game is coming out in 2027, and a lot of people are a little bit like complaining about it. Stop complaining right now. This is the best Pokemon game ever. I bet you money it will be. So stop complaining. This is an order, okay? Usually I'd say people can have their own opinions. Just stop, please. Just stop. This is good. This is good. Please stop complaining. If you're complaining, stop it. You can't have your own opinions on this. Just this one thing, because this is better. So stop saying it's bad. You can say, I'm not into Pokemon. That's fine. Just don't say it's bad. Don't complain, please. That's another one of my wishes, just for people not to complain about this. It's clearly better. It's clearly in the right direction. So can we please just not complain? You can complain if they show something actually bad, but this isn't bad. This is good. So please don't complain. But it does come out in 2027, which you shouldn't complain about. And that's a good thing. I mean, the longer it takes them to polish this game, the better. Also, leaves room for the holiday season to maybe see a 3D Mario. Now, I understand this is a Pokemon video, but if we see a 3D Mario, I mean, I'm still going to be pretty excited. So, yes. And the price is also something I would like to point out. And I don't know. I have no clue if it will be 70 or 80. It will be at least 70, but there's a chance I could see 80. And I thought for a while that Mario Kart World really would be the only 80, but looking at how this game's looking, I could see it being an 80. I'm not saying it should be priced at 80. I'm saying I think Nintendo might do it. I think Nintendo is going to go mostly 70, but for the exceptions that they know will sell well. The next generation of Pokemon. Yeah, that's gonna sell well. I think they just might make it 80. I mean, they made Mario Kart 80 because they knew it would sell well. So, apply the same logic, I could see this being 80. So, might be 80. Of course, I think it should be 70. I think every Nintendo game should be 70 or less, but what you're gonna do, I think it could be 80. So, yeah, those are my thoughts. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you watched this far, leave a like and subscribe, and peace out, everyone.